Guys, today we're going over 10 beginner tips for Awaken Chaos Era. Now, if we're still in the beta when you're watching this, you don't have to go too crazy following these tips because, I mean, the beta is going to get wiped anyway. All your progress is going to get wiped before the actual release, so you don't have to worry about making quick progress and competing and things like that. Just have fun and then play around with whatever you want to play around with. But after the game gets fully released globally is when you're going to want to consider doing these tips so that you don't fall behind and that you stay current, you stay relevant, and you get the most for the time that you have to actually play. Tip number one should be fairly straightforward, but go through adventure mode as far as you can, as soon as you can, because there's going to be a lot of rewards and resources for you that are going to help you throughout all of the dungeons. If you try to do some of these dungeons first before you do adventure mode, you're going to be like, I'm struggling, I don't have the gear to do this, I don't have the resources to do this. If you go through adventure mode, not only does it give you a lot of gems and also summons early on, but also when you hit things like this, Island Discovery 8S1, oh, you guys can't even see it. Let me actually take my face off here, but there are 5-star pieces of gear here, 5-star pieces of gear here that's going to really help you when you're trying to make progress and actually do these dungeons. It's going to be a nice head start of getting some of this gear that you're going to need for later. This next tip is for some of you guys that are coming from different games where you have to upgrade your food units, you have to bring them in to adventure, scenario, campaign mode, whatever, and you have to have your 1 farmer unit and then the 3 food units going along with it to upgrade the food units. In this game, you don't quite have to do that. You can do that from here, but it's actually more efficient to I don't want you guys to get in the habit of farming adventure mode over and over and over again for that. You can just get that same XP jelly because you get XP jelly from here, and then also you can go in and you can farm for gear, and then since your units are going to be max leveled, well, I assume they would be max leveled for farming gear, you are going to get excess XP jelly that you can then use to upgrade any food monsters. I mean, I'm sure some of you guys have already seen this in the game over here. Like, you go here and then you upgrade. I'm doing this in beta, by the way. That's why I haven't built all this cool stuff, because I'm like, it's just gonna get wiped anyway. So you could just use all your XP jelly, and you could just get this XP jelly from dungeons. You don't have to do adventure mode to get XP for things, and you could upgrade all your food. Not that this is a food monster, but you can upgrade your food monsters with that rather than doing the traditional way of mobile gacha RPGs of having the 1 farmer unit and having 3 other units that farmer carries to upgrade their XP. That way you don't have to do that. You just get the XP jelly from your gear farming dungeons. Tip number 3 is summon your crappy crystals too. I know everyone wants the advanced summons because that's how you get the juicy stuff, but also these normal summons are really great for getting food units. Let's summon 10 of these right now. The game actually has a very fast way of quick promoting things. I mean, I wish we could skip this animation over here because we're not going to get anything exciting from here regardless. But the game actually has a quick way of promoting over here at the altar. We can click right below. I got to move my face because my face seems to be in front of everything. We can click on this thing called Quick Promote, and we can promote all. Oh, we only have we only have 2 from there. But we can promote the low-level things, and then we can go again, and we can promote even further this way. And it actually does not take a crazy amount of time and resources and energy to promote to actually summon those basic crystals and to promote all of your food units. It's actually pretty fast. Tip number 4 is here in the gold shop. We have charms, we have crystals, we have glyphs, we have more charms and crystals and rings and necklaces. These are garbage, these rings and necklaces. The wood crystals you can get if you want to, you really don't need to. But these charms, these are actually going to be very important because you can't upgrade your gear with just gold alone. You need to actually have other gear to feed to it. This is kind of like the Epic 7 system instead of the Summoner's War system. So you actually need to upgrade it with charms or other gear. So this is a really nice way to, you're going to need more of these than you actually think that you will. These different charms. So I would say anytime you see some of these from the gold shop, they're fairly cheap. Gold is super easy to get. And then also I've been getting these glyphs. You don't have to get the glyphs, but I think that these are just easier so that you have to farm a little bit less of adventure mode for the glyphs. But yeah, I would definitely recommend to definitely go for the charms anytime you see them. Tip number 5 is don't let your arena invites go to waste. If you see an easy team over here in arena, hit it. And then if you can't find any other teams that you can beat, just wait for the refresh timer to go down, come back to in a few minutes. If you can't beat any of those, go to training, hit some of these in training, because when you farm dungeons, you will get a crap ton of these extra arena invites, and you will just be maxed. You'll have 30, you'll have 40, you'll have 50. If you don't keep on this every so often, you'll have so much of this. Also, you actually need a lot of these things. I mean, you don't need a lot of these things from the shop, but it's really nice to get those extra arena points, especially for the general ascension stone. It costs so many though, 8,000. I hope they reduce the cost of this before the actual release, but these meal coupons at the very least are very nice. And if you guys like summons, there's summons there too. I think the meal coupons are nice because, you know me, I like to farm, I like to do my energy, but the general ascension stone is definitely the most valuable thing that you can get from there. It's 8,000, but yeah, that's why you want to make sure you keep on your arenas and try to hit any team that you possibly can. Tip number 6 is before you farm gear, farm glyphs. So if you go to farm gear, you may or may not get something that you can actually use. If you go to prioritize glyphs over gear, you actually get whatever stat increases you get. This is a permanent, fixed, no RNG stat increase. You farm these glyphs, you get attack plus 80, you get crit rate plus 1.5. By the way, guys, if you're coming from other games, especially Summoner's War, where it's like very hard to get crit rate sometimes, Epic 7 is a little bit more forgiving. But if you're coming from Summoner's War, you're like, man, I got low crit rate on everything. Nice thing about glyphs is this keeps upgrading your crit rate, and then you fuse all the glyphs and you go to the next glyph level. Like for right now, we are at glyph level 4, but all of these are fixed stat increases. So that means no RNG like the gear, and then farm gear later, right? So you get your fixed stat increases. You go to farm these from different things in adventure. I don't even have this. I don't even have this unlocked yet. But you go farm this from adventure mode. So you are going to be farming a little bit more adventure mode than just the first time. But I want you guys to not get in the habit of trying to farm adventure mode for XP. Farm them for the glyphs. And also, if you only need one, here's my recommendation. This is what I've been doing. If you only need one glyph for something, like for example, let's find something that maybe only needs one, like 4, right? So maybe I get 6 in the first couple runs. Instead of stopping the runs, I'm gonna need these later at some point. I'm just gonna keep doing this. We got it to 10 runs. Let me just let the 10 finish instead of doing 1 run or 2 runs for just the amount of glyphs I need. Just do the 10 runs instead of coming back later. This just gives you a little bit more extra, so you'll have them before you need them. Tip number 7 is make sure you always have units out on your dispatches. So right here where my face is, again, as usual, you can go here to dispatches and make sure you always, these are basically just idle rewards. Have your units, I mean, you can even have your units like just quick select, right? Quick select, go here, boom. Quick select, go here. It's just free rewards. You don't really have to do anything. There's extra XP jelly, another reason you don't have to farm the adventure mode for all of that. But make sure that you always have these things going, because you really, I mean, these are just idle rewards. If you don't do these, there's just so much extra free goodies, free resources that you're missing out on. We also get some nice shards from, I mean, there's not a lot of shards, but some nice shards, some gear charms. This works on any gear since it's just flexible one, not for a specific piece of gear like boots or anything. But yeah, it's just resources that you're going to eventually need. Just free resources. Tip number 8, if you get lost, you get confused, you don't know what to do next in the game, you can do one of 2 things. You can go to these challenge quests and you can see what's coming up next in the challenge quest and go for the next thing available there. Or you can also go, and my head is again in front of everything, you can go to Foodie's Guide and just do the next thing that you need to do here in Foodie's Guide. Also, keep in mind that you may want to hold off on promoting things or upgrading your gear, since it may be coming up next in Foodie Guide. Like for example, enhance 4 items of gear to +9. If I'm looking to upgrade my gear right now, I may want to hold off because this is going to be coming up soon. So I'll just hold off until we get to this 12th part of this and upgrade my gear at that point. Tip number 9, let's talk about money. Now, a lot of you guys are going to feel pressured to spend money to keep up, to make progress, to get ahead of everyone. You don't need to spend a whole ton of money if you play efficiently. If you try to not build things that are unnecessary, if you try to be efficient with your resources and not squander them and be like, let me summon everything, let me just buy a lot of advanced crystals. we're going to buy a lot of advanced crystals today, I'm just saying. But we're in the beta, so it's going to get wiped anyway. But just FYI, you don't need to go crazy. Like, a lot of this stuff is not necessary. It's just like, this is like, okay, this just gives you faster progress. It's not like you can't play anything in the game without spending money on all this stuff. Some of the nice things, I mean, there is also the free one. But the reason that these games put the free thing there is just to get you to go willingly to the shop to see all the in-app purchases. But that's the sneaky thing. But the nice value ones are generally these silver card, gold card. Not these. These are generally the worst values. I mean, there's a little buff for the first purchases, but yeah, generally the better values are the silver card, gold card, and Magic Pass. Because the Magic Pass actually does give you some decent stuff as well. But you don't have to feel like you need any of this stuff. If you just play efficiently, you can definitely make up. I mean, it's better to play efficiently and put effort in. Will always trump spending money and then putting no effort in, right? In these games in general. Like, effort goes a long way. Last but not least, tip number 10 is for your first 6-star, I would recommend a damage dealing unit, and I would also recommend a damage dealing unit for whatever of the first Arcane Dominator dungeons you plan on tackling first. That's redundant. So I would also recommend doing Roaring Tulpa first for 2 reasons. Number 1, it's fairly easy. It gives you some decent flexible gear that you can put on a bunch of different things. For your HP based tanks, you can put the Terra sets on there. For your speedy support units, you can put the Raider sets. And for your damage dealer units, you can put the Rage set. By the way, guys, this is a 4 set, not a 2 set. Some of you may be familiar with 2 sets of crit rate buffs. That one is a 4 set. So that's what I recommend for there. Also, the game gives you a very nice unit to just one very nice unit to build first as your first DPS unit for there. A lot of people, if you guys have noticed, a lot of people have been building Zachary, and that is kind of the reason. He's a very strong unit that the game just gives you very early on for a damage dealer unit, and also he's fire, so he's going to be really good in Roaring Tulpa. And then also another nice one. I mean, we got to work on his gear and stuff like that. But also it's the beta, so I'm not really planning on working on the gear too much. I'm just farming very casual. I'm like, I'm not going to push too much. It's going to get wiped in a week. So another nice unit that I recommend to work on is Connor. It's another super easy unit to both obtain and upgrade as well. He's a fantastic support unit. So these are the things that a lot of people are already building. It's not like I'm the only one building them. But anyway, guys, that's it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Just 10 quick tips for probably not too quick. 10 tips for beginner progress in Awaken Chaos Era. I hope you guys enjoyed it. That's it for this one. I will see you as always in the next one.